Hello, TCG and Lorcana enthusiasts, and welcome to this gameplay video. Now, this is not a traditional gameplay video. I will be doing more traditional videos, but you guys gotta smash the like button on deck profiles to see those videos. So anyways, this is Mario's first Luxury Lorcana Locals, or LLL for short. This event is held every Monday, free, full proxies allowed for the first set of Lorcana. So if you're looking to play the game, try it out, try out decks, strategies, this is a great time to do it because it's completely free. Not a dime is spent, not mentioning that Mario is giving out free mats. Now, this is the top table game. I was in this game with my version of Stitch Snowball. Check the link down in the description below for that deck profile if you want to see the Stitch Snowball deck that I took to this event. Now I have the video muted. I will be narrating over it. We're not going to care for Mario. If you want the sound of Mario himself, the man over here, I will leave a link in the description below to his Twitch channel. You can check it out there. I highly recommend checking out the entire streamed video because there's a lot of good Lorcana action going on. Again, you can get some good insights from him as well. Though he was quite tired after coming home from Gen Con. If you don't know, Mario lives out in Canada, drove all the way to Indiana. That's a 10-hour drive. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts over the entire game. So anyways, here we are. Of course, I have my cloth mat out here. This is my Dragon Ball cloth mat. Again, this is from Zeno Black Market. Again, I am playing, of course, Amber, Amethyst, Stitch Snowball, and my opponent is playing Amethyst Emerald. I'm not exactly sure if he had a name for it, but it's Amethyst Emerald. So anyways, a thing you'll notice about how this game starts is that you shuffle your decks. It's 60-card decks. So if you're not used to shuffling 60 cards decks, or at least standard size 60 card decks, be ready to shuffle a lot of cards. But anyways, you start out with a hand of 7. Now typically this game has mulligans, but mulligans are not used for the first game. Now if you're playing like a best of 1, like you're trying out a deck with a friend, or you're doing like what you see like other content creators doing where they play like a best of 1, then you're going to run the mulligan system because it doesn't seem right. But if you're doing best 2 out of 3, it looks like the rules will state you cannot mulligan your first turn. So if your first turn hand or first game hand isn't great, well, you're just going to have to live with it. Now, in a normal hand, if we got to mulligan, we'd want to throw out all the high stuff. Your 6s, your 5s. Most of the time, you want to try to see your engine. In this case, I want to see a Stitch and a Stitch Rockstar because that's my engine in my first hand, as well as an ability to drop a 1-drop. Now, you'll see here the Emerald deck, or Emerald cards, are very interesting. They're very gimmicky. The way they all activate is that if they're challenged or banished in a challenge, they trigger an effect. So the Emerald cards are very, very neat. Again, he's playing Amethyst as well because, again, Amethyst has some very good cards as well, as you'll see. It's using Yu-Gi-Oh's format for like who decides who goes first. You roll dice. Whoever wins gets to pick first. I do like going first with my deck because I like setting up quickly and getting my first cards out there so I can start collecting my lore and start building up my presence. So anyways, let's continue. So anyways, while we're just shuffling back and forth our hands as per normal, I'm using a spin down counter up there. He is using his phone here. Again, the objective to win is 20 lore. This is also my first time being in a top cut or top table video for Mario. But anyways, I'm going to ink here and then immediately tap that ink to put out a Lilo. Again, this is a 1 cost. I can't ink it, but it does collect 2 lore every time it quests. So this is a great way to start out in this deck. My opponent's going to ink here. Again, this is where I know he's playing Amethyst. And then he's going to put out his own 1 cost card. This is the 1 cost Maleficent, who also quests for 2. I'm going to ink another card here. Now, typically in this round, I'd want to play the Simba, but I didn't have the Simba in hand as I decided to throw my ink all over the place. But I'm going to pull out my own Maleficent just so I have both, and I'm going to quest for 2. Now, again, I like to make note that in Mario's tournament, he does put his the little bits and things you collect for watching his tournament, he does allow you to gamble them. I only had a 20% chance of winning. His crowd thought that the Amethyst Emerald, which I think is a very good deck nonetheless, just because of the way how gimmicky the Emerald cards are, was going to win over me. Again, Maw Dragon, of course, right there. But yeah, nonetheless, that was pretty neat that most people didn't think I was going to win, even though I'm the deck that likes to spill dudes all over the board. And in essence, because I know for a fact this deck doesn't have, because it's not playing the Steel Engine, and the Emerald Engine only has a few cards that can deal damage. The Emerald Engine's gimmick is around their characters, not around like board wiping abilities. So when my Stitch deck starts going, it will just spam out the board and it will be too much for the Emerald deck. Now I do play kind of conservative in here. I do play a little bit of board control on him, keeping him off a lot of his lore guys, which I don't think is advantageous a lot of times for this deck. My deck is mostly about spilling dudes out and then going wide board that way. Again, I don't have to fear about board wipe because now I know for a fact he's playing Amethyst. Amethyst doesn't have board wiping abilities. Hardly has any like damaging abilities. So anyways, we still have yet to see the second color. He's seen both mine. I'm Amethyst Amber. Now we know for a fact he has Emerald. So what Flynn Rider does is that when he is banished on a challenge, he makes me discard a card out of my hand. But he will quest for 2 lore every turn. He's a 1/2. So anyways, I'm going to tap all 3. I'm going to play at the Maleficent here. I'm going to go over the draw 1 because that is on the plate. I'm going to decide to crash my Maleficent with his Maleficent. Again, that's mitigating his ability to gain 4 lore a turn because, again, he has 2 lore, while I'm going to gain another 2. Now, again, Mario does make some comments. Again, if you want to go watch his video with the audio on, because he makes comments about how this person plays. Because I think what he should have done is this is a 1/2. He should have swung another Leo, blocked me from gaining 2 lore here every turn. But nonetheless, that is his choice after all. But again, when Flame Rider dies in a challenge, he will force me to discard 1. So anyways, my opponent's going to decide to not attack. He's going to gain some lore. Again, if you have the app, it does have a lore counter on it. So anyways, he's going to pay a card that is Mother Knows Best. It bounces a card back to my hand. Now, in the Stitch Snowball deck, you don't want to bounce little guys back to my hand. If he had bounced a Maleficent, that'd been perfectly fine. The little guys is what you don't want to be bouncing back to any Stitch Snowball player's hand. Because once I get the Stitch Snowball going, all my little guys now are able to come to the board. Then I can exert them to draw a card. So I just claim advantage for you giving me back a little guy. So I'm not sold so much on this card, but I think it's good for spinning back high value cards, or even the Stitch Rockstar, because without a little Stitch, he has to pay 6 to get on the board. Basically, in essence, he has to pay. So anyways, now just a reminder, as you saw right there, I set up, I draw, and then I move right into my main phase. Once again, if you're new to the game, everything happens in the main phase. You can play 1 ink per turn. There is a card known as Bell for Sapphire that allows you to play a 2nd ink from your hand per turn. Again, you can only ink cards with the inkable symbol, so like this Flynn Rider and this Maleficent. Now, if you'll see, my proxies are a little different. I printed them off from where I have my deck profile, where we did our deck profile video. They were smaller. Lorcana cards are standard size, so like Pokemon, Magic, Digimon. So very nice that they're not Japanese. But I just wanted to bring that up. So I'm going to ink a Maximus here. Basically, that is my 5-cost bodyguard. And again, I'm just going to take some time here to really think about my next play. Because again, I have the 4 lore here, but the 4 ink, I just don't have things. So I'm going to swing at the Maleficent, at the Flynn Rider, knocking out my opponent's playable cards. I'm going to pitch another Maleficent. I'm going to play the Stitch here. And then next turn, I can ramp it up into my Rockstar. Now I'm going to play the Simba out here, but I'm not going to exert it because there's nothing to guard. My opponent's board is completely clean, so there's not reason to protect this Maleficent with the Simba. So my opponent's going to play down Maleficent. Again, the draw. Again, he can play the one card he wants to ink anytime the turn. This game really relies on you making sure that you can get an inkable card, unless you're blue or sapphire, depending on how you want to call it, where you're not really caring about missing ink because of the fact that you're able to ramp. So anyways, I'm going to pay the 4 here. I'm immediately going to shift into my Stitch right here. I'm going to ink this mini, then I'm going to immediately tap, putting out the Lilo. Stitch is going to trigger to exert it, and then I draw a card. Now, as you can see right here, in the deck profile, I made mention of it, as my webcam isn't the greatest webcam in the world, even though I paid big money for it. But, as you see, I have one card, and we're hitting about probably late, early to mid stage. You're seeing that my opponent and I don't have a lot of cards. This is why Stitch Snowball is just so advantageous, because of the fact that because I exerted this Lilo, I get to draw another card before it's my turn. The only time you get to draw a card, typically, unless you're running an engine that has draw ability like Amber and Amethyst do, you're typically only going to be able to draw one card per turn. So you're really going to see for a fact in this, if you play this game or you've seen gameplay footage of this game, that a lot of time you really don't have hands. Now, because we have such limited hands as we move into mid to late game, that's why it's very important about having like Stitch Snowball, being able to draw you constantly all your cards. That's why it's important to have like friends, and that's why it's important to have like Rapunzel, because card advantage in this game is very important, because if you have more cards than your opponent does, then you can ink almost every turn, which is very important because that helps you continually bring in higher cost cards, as well as making sure you always have something to counteract your opponent. So anyways, continuing here, we've of course are questing here with of course the Maleficent, the Stitch, the Lilo, and then the Simba, just claiming just a whole chunk ton worth of lore here. Again, this Stitch quest for 3, of course, I gotta do the fancy, gotta cross my arms and being on the serious. Mario does make a comment about that as well. So anyways, we have the Maleficent, but again, because we have this Simba being exerted, we kind of are being protected by bodyguards. So the Maleficent can't come at the Lilo or the Stitch Rockstar. It has to first go against the Simba, and Simba does 2 damage on challenge, so the Maleficent will be dead here since they 2/2. But it looks like he may be going for, yes, the song to spin a card back. So he's going to spin the Stitch back to my hand. Now, we did have a question of whether or not the little Stitch will be returned to hand when the the big Stitch is returned. So Mario confirms that the big Stitch comes back, the little Stitch will fall off. He relates it back to XYZs. So if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, if you spin back an XYZ, the XYZ pieces immediately go to the trash. So anyways, he's going to summon out a beast here. So this automatically gains Rush. Rush only allows you to challenge. So the beast is going to go against the Simba here, because again, that's the only thing he can actually physically challenge thanks to the bodyguard ability. He's going to take 2 damage here. And again, now I have this Stitch Rockstar in my hand. So the second I get up to 6 lore, I can play it. So I'm going to go 3 here. I'm going to play another Maleficent to draw 1, just so I can cycle my deck. I haven't yet put down an ink just yet. I think I'm just short of 1 of playing the Stitch back down on the board. I'm just kind of figuring out whether or not I want to ink something. I have the Mickey Mouse in my hand, I had the Stitch, and I drew a mini from the Maleficent. So I decided I'm going to put the mini down. That way, of course, I have all that set. Now the question is whether or not I should quest here. Because again, the beast is pretty big here. So anyways, I'm going to crash this Maleficent into the beast, and then I'm going to quest for 2. So the beast has 4 health overall, so a Maleficent and a Simba was able to take it out. Again, I'm just kind of keeping control of the board state here, because that beast is 2 lore. And again, letting them run over the Lilo it does hurt, but overall it's not overly damaging, because the fact is the Lilo's already put in so much work throughout the game. So anyways, he's going to then pay the 3 to do the friends. The friends will let him draw 2. Again, a very strong card exclusive to the Amethyst archetype. So anyways, he's going to ink another card here, and he's just going to pass the turn. I'm going to set up my inkwell again, and then draw for the turn. Now I have the necessary ink here, so that is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to bring out, of course, the Stitch Rockstar, of course, casting him for his hard cast here of a value of 6. And I'm deciding what not to do with my Maleficent, whether or not to quest or simply to crash. So I'm going to decide to crash. Basically, I clean my opponent's board up here because, again, all his characters have summoning sickness or drying ink. So they can only come in at normal. And again, even if he summons another beast, it can't rush into anything because there's nothing to rush into. And the beast also has an effect that when it's played, it does exert any damaged characters, but there's no damaged characters here. So he does play the beast, which is 2 lore per turn, but again, it can't rush. Rush only allows it to challenge for the turn. So I'm going to pay 1 here, and I'm going to start the cycling effect. I'm going to play Stitch. I'm going to exert it with, of course, my Stitch Rockstar. Again, Stitch Rockstar's effect to exert is not a hard once per turn or anything like that. It is simply just an effect to play. So I'm going to bring out old Mickey here. Again, that decreases all my broom costs by 1. I'm just checking my ink here to kind of figure it out. I haven't inked anything as of yet, so I'm going to pay 1 more. I'm going to play out the brooms here. So this is reduced by 1 because of the Mickey. And then, by the way, now that Mickey's on the field with the brooms on the field, it means that if these brooms go and like crash against that beast when it becomes exerted, as I shuffle my deck here, Mario does make comment about how I shuffle in half and then shuffle the other half into my half. It's how I actually kind of like to shuffle 60 cards. Shuffle your 60 cards however you want. Anyways, I'm going to always half cut my deck every time I use the brooms here. I'm just shuffling my stuff from my drop zone. I'm going to exert the brooms here. The brooms are going to be exerted here. I'm going to play at the Pascal. The Pascal is going to be exerted as well. I'm going to draw 1 card. And as you can clearly see, the Pascal will have evasion thanks to the fact I have more than another character on the board. So basically, I was able this turn to put a Stitch, a Brooms, and a Pascal, and then draw 1 card for each of them. So I was able to cycle multiple cards. So I passed the turn because I'm not going to rest my Stitch Rockstar here, even for the 3 lore. As you can see, I'm at 11. But I just don't want the beast to come running into it. Anyways, we have the Elsa here, the big Elsa. So what this does is that it will exert 2 cards on the field, and then they cannot do anything the next turn. So they cannot quest, and they cannot challenge. So here's what he should have done. He should have taken his beast and swung at the Mickey. Even at 3-4, this would have still been able to do some damage, because what this is going to allow me to do is I'm going to swing my brooms in. I'm going to crash against the beast. The brooms are going to return to my hand again because of the fact that I have the Mickey up on the board. So that basically just means that I deal 2 damage to his beast. I return the brooms to Mickey, and I just recycle my brooms completely fine. So I'm just going to play it out again for 1 cost later. I think I was just confirming with my opponent how I get the brooms back to my hand through the Mickey. Here I go for the 1 cost. I'm going to drop the brooms onto the board. I'm going to, again, cycle through my drop zone just because I'm doing it, because I'm trying to cycle back my cards. I don't really want to give my opponent any of his cards. Again, I'm going to do the shuffling effect that Mario does not like. But anyways, nonetheless, I'm going to shuffle up my deck here. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to then exert the brooms to draw 1. Just perfect combo right there. As you can see, I just gained so much value off of it. Now, I drew into the Maximus. I will be playing the Maximus just to protect my Mickey and my Stitch, because the fact the Elsa is just so huge. Now, I have the Stitch I can still utilize, and I still have the Pascal. And again, Pascal does have evasion currently right now because I do have at least another character on the field. So I'm just trying to figure out my plays here. I have a Lantern in hand. I have a Maximus in hand. I'm just kind of trying to figure out exactly what to do with my hand. Again, I will play out that Maximus later. So anyways, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to decide to take that Stitch, and I'm going to crash it against his beast. That just removes the beast from being a problem, and again, removing the 2 lore that he gets from it. So I'm going to tap out I'm going to tap out, I'm going to tap 2 here first, and I'm going to use the lantern. And then the lantern, and then the 4 remaining ink left, because the item automatically dries the second it comes in. And I'm going to play out Maximus. Maximus is a 4/5 bodyguard. So Elsa has to run into the bodyguard first before she can run into the Mickey or into the Stitch here. And I'm just going to go up to 12 lore here. My opponent is, without a doubt, really low on the lore scale right now. Just because I've been knocking out a lot of the stuff on his board that can give him high lore. All his 2 lore guys are the field. Like I said, I'm going white here with no real fear because this is Amethyst Emerald. This deck doesn't have a lot of kill, but anyways, as we see another big Elsa drop down. By the way, this Elsa can shift. I forget what the cost is. I think it's 7 or 8. But anyways, he's going to quest with the Elsa. The Elsa does quest for 3 here. It's pretty good. It's great, actually. Really good for like an Amethyst control presence if you want to use it. It does shift as well. So anyways, I'm going to run Maximus into the exerted Elsa. In essence, I'm just trying to knock it out. Just in essence, because again, I'm going to crash the brooms against it, knocking it out. And then again, I cycle the brooms because the Mickey is still on the board. Again, the Elsa is blocking the Mickey and the Stitch from being useful. Again, I'm just doing my drop zone right now for my drop zone for the brooms, not his, because I don't really want to shuffle any of his Amethyst or his Emerald stuff back into his deck. I'd rather have my stuff back in my deck. So here you can really see the power of what the Stitch Snowball can do here. Again, because exerting the broom, that gives me a draw. I have all of this ink I can utilize here, so I'm going to tap 2 here. I'm going to put in, of course, Simba. I'm not going to use the bodyguard effect here to bring it in exerted. I'm going to use Stitch to exert it, and then I'm going to draw. So that leaves me now with 2 bodyguards on the field, protecting now the Mickey and, again, the Stitch, because now he's going to have to go through Maximus and then Simba. I'm going to do Threns to draw 2. I have not yet inked this turn. I'm going to tap out the Lantern here just because I get a free place here. Yeah, I'm going to put down the Pascal. I'm going to exert the Pascal with the Stitch. I'm just getting so much value here, as you can see. I have yet to ink. I'm going to ink another Stitch Rockstar just because I have one right now on the board. And right now I just have a mass presence. You can see I just have too much ink. Too many guys on the board who can all quest. I'm just going to quest here. Again, this shows just the ability where everything just happening in the main phase. I decide to end there. I have too many high-level cards. Just not enough ink right now to play it out. But this right here is just overkill for it. So anyways, he's going to put out John here. I actually forget his name. But what he does is he targets one guy on the field and gives it Reckless. They are forced to challenge. They cannot quest. And they must challenge if able. So in essence, my Mickey, which he targeted, must challenge that turn. Now, I can choose, of course, when it challenges. But before I pass the turn, that Mickey has to challenge. Now, it's not going to really be a matterment because, as you can see here, I have 3 lore. Then I have 1 from Maximus, 1 for the brooms, 1 from Pascal, 1 from Pascal, and 1 from Simba. I'm at 13. That the guys I have currently on the field, as I'm just counting them up just to make sure that I have enough lore, which I do, and I will win based off of that. I'm just going to just do it anyways to, of course, fully show it off that I have it, and I take game 1. So anyways, here we are, game 2. We are drawing our starting hands. Now this, of course, game 2 is where we can start actually doing the mulligan. So the mulligan is you take cards out of your hand, you put them, then you will shuffle those cards, then you'll draw how many cards from the top of your deck to how many cards you put down, and that's your mulligan. Then you'll reshuffle your deck after that. So I'm just going to mulligan 1 here. Again, I prefer to mulligan basically the higher rarity stuff that I'm looking for. Now, thinking about it, there is a chance with Stitch Snowball, you probably want to mulligan your hand to hopefully draw basically Stitch, and you need Stitch Rockstar. Now, in the newer version that I posted in my deck profile, again, link down in the description for that, I would also say mulliganing for your lanterns as well. Now, I was only playing 2 lanterns originally in this. So anyways, there is a Pascal down the board. So right now, all he needs is another guy, and then that Pascal will evasion, meaning that the only thing I can hit it with is my Pascal. I'm going to ink a mini, I'm going to put out a Stitch, so that means that I'm now kind of looking, basically telling my opponent, I put out a Stitch, I have the Rockstar in my hand. I mean, my opponent should well enough know now what my deck is doing, so he knows I have the Rockstar. So anyways, he's going to tap a 2 here. He's going to go for Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil is a 1/3 that when it is banished, it will bounce something back to my hand. So there is a little misplay I make here about how exactly I should deal with the Cruella de Vil. So I'm going to ink an Yzma. I'm going to put out a mini here. And what I really should have done is I should be, so I can't tack this Pascal because currently, as of this moment in time, there is another character keeping it, allowing it to be an evasion, and I don't have my Pascal on the board, which is the only thing I have that physically has evasion. But you'll see later, what I should be doing here later on in this game is I should be taking out this Cruella de Vil. Because I have 4 attack here, 2, 3, and this forces a card to be bounced back to my hand. So depending on which one he decides to bounce back, even if one of these was at 1 damage, no matter which one he bounces back, it bounces back at full health. Because I know for a fact he's going to have to exert this Maleficent at some point. So that means if he bounces back the mini, I can minis 2, 3, attacking the Maleficent is going to keep the mini alive at 1 health left. So I'm going to pay for friends here because I just don't have a 3 right now. I didn't really have anything I could really play. I was originally going to try to go after the Pascal, but I totally forgot that it was a Pascal, so it has evasion. What I should have done after that is just swung these 2 into the Cruella. Again, he bounces 1 back to my hand, but that one now back in my hand is at full health. Meaning that if he bounced, say, the Stitch back in my hand, I could play the Stitch at full health. Or the mini at full health. So in essence, I knock out one of his guys that's still gaining him 1 lore per turn, meaning that he would need now not to ever. You couldn't go with the Cruella, no. So he's going to hit out with the Maleficent, but if he say kept like the mini on the board, he couldn't then quest with the Maleficent to keep the Pascal safe. So anyways, he's going to go. I believe that is, yes, the Mad Hatter. So this one's an annoying card. So what the Mad Hatter does is a 3, so it's 5 cost. I think at like 2/4, so it's not very big and not very strong. But what it is, it's at 3 lore, and if it ever gets challenged, the player who has it just gets to draw a card. So I'm going to challenge the Cruella here. I've already kind of, it's at this point right here, I'm kind of on a down slope right now because I just don't have the resources. I'm going to play out a Stitch, and then I'm kind of deciding it. I have a Simba in hand. I could Simba to protect this. Well, he would even really swing, but I'm going to put down a 1-cost Maleficent, and then deciding on whether I still have 2 lore left, but I'm just going to pass it at that. I think I have the Stitch in my hand, the Rockstar, so I want to keep the Simba in hand so I can then exert it for following turn. So anyways, now we have Mother Gothel. So he is at 6 now. Mother Gothel, when exerted, means that none of my cards can quest. So I have to run into Mother Gothel, kill her, to allow my cards to quest. She's a Floodgate 4 Emerald. And she is at 3/6, by the way. So she's got a pretty big will, and she does 3 damage per challenge. Right now, as you can see, I have a 2/3, a 2/2, and a 1/1. So I'm going to swing at the Cruella. It's going to be killed off here. He's going to be able to bounce a card back to my hand. He's going to bounce the Maleficent back to my hand. I have a Stitch yet again. Again, the bounce does give me the chance if I have the... So I'm going to pay 4 here. I'm going to shift, and then I can be able to pay the last one to then get it. But the problem is he's just now up on advantage. He's got his Floodgate. He's going to gain 3 each turn because I actually am going to swing my Stitch into the Mad Hatter, which is probably not a great idea at this point. Sure, maybe if that was the only monster on his board, I would have swung and killed it off and dealt with it. See, this is where Rapunzel would have been kind of nice because I could have swung over the Mother Gothel with 3 damage here and then healed my own 3 damage and then maybe swung again, killing off. basically removing the Mother Gothel. The problem, though, is I just gave him a free draw there for 3 damage, leaving him with 1 health left because it's a 2/4. The problem is what he's going to do this turn is he's just going to quest with Pascal, quest with the Mad Hatter, and then quest with Mother Gothel, and he's going to lock me out of lore. So he doesn't have to do really anything else. That's why, truth be told, he just ramped a little faster. I think, actually, funny enough, going first in this game actually does help. I think Stitch Snowball is strong or better either way when going first, as he now drops a second Mad Hatter on me, and I can just tell you right now, there's no way, because the problem is, as of right now, I'm getting just lore killed, and then he's gonna floodgate me with Mother Gothel. There's no way I can actually out the Mother Gothel in my current board state. So I'm just gonna scoop that up and go to game number 3. All right, now into game 3 here as I draw my starting hand. I just want you to know my opponent never once mulliganed at all. He kept both hands. So anyways, I'm gonna mulligan out here. I believe that is the big Stitch. I didn't really need it here. So I'm just kind of picking what I kind of want to mulligan. Again, I'm just trying to throw out the big stuff and kind of just searching out for my pieces. Now, I will say I did not get any of my Stitch here. So my starting hand does not include my Stitch Rockstar. Again, that's what I'm kind of searching for. Again, that's what I probably should have mulliganed my hand, majority of my hand away to try to get my Stitch. Again, that is my combo. But anyways, I did decide to, of course, go first here, because again, that's what I want my deck to do. I want my deck to be going first so that I can get my setup. I'm going to go hey, and I'm going to put out the Maleficent here. Very nice combo. So again, either the Lilo or the Maleficent going being my first turn play is really, really nice. So anyways, we're going to see a Pascal come down. My opponent's going to put down his own Maleficent. Now again, this would be a good crash point. But I have, of course, a Simba in hand, which means this Maleficent is completely safe. Going to put down Yzma. Going to bring the bodyguard Simba in, searching for the 2, which meaning that this Maleficent cannot crash against my Maleficent because it's going to have to go through the Simba first. Now, in this, I play a little too much into board control, when I probably didn't really need to play board control as much as I did. So anyways, here comes the Flynn Rider. Again, this is the card that, if banished by a challenge, will have to, I will have to discard a card out of my hand. So I'm going to ink a Maximus, and I'm kind of deciding here. So I am going to decide to swing the Simba into the Maleficent, knocking that away from it, and then of course that keeps me with 1 health. I'm going to put down another Simba, basically in essence guarding the Simbas together. But yeah, my starting hand included, I think included my Rockstar version of Stitch. I think I just saw there to flash for a second, but I did not have the traditional Stitch, the little one. My opponent is going to play down the Cheshire Cat. So this, if banished by a character, it will also banish the character that banished it. So this is, I believe, doesn't deal any damage. I think it just has like 3 health. So it banishes whatever banished it. So it's really nice just to run the Cheshire Cat into something to get rid of it. So I'm going to ink an Olaf there. I'm going to pay my 4. I'm going to bring out the Mickey. So if I do happen to get some brooms right now, the Mickey does reduce the cost of brooms by 1. But he is also 2 lore, by the way. The Cheshire Cat is 2 lore. So I'm going to swing the Maleficent. No, I'm going to lore quest for the Maleficent. I am going to swing the undamaged Simba into the Flynn Rider and quest with the other one. So I will have to discard here per Flynn Rider's effect. Now I have the Rockstar and I have Friends. I decided to get rid of the Rockstar just because the aspect is I don't have this little Stitch right now. Now, maybe it was better to probably discard the Friends, but I wanted the Friends for the draw too, because I can sing it with the Mickey here for free. So basically, I don't have to pay my lore. I can draw 2 cards by just suspending the Mickey. Now, I will be getting rid of the Cheshire Cat later, but truth be told, I probably didn't really matter if I went after the Cheshire Cat. Because again, all it's doing is just questing for 2. Again, questing for 2 is nice, but I already well above advantage to him. So anyways, he used Friends himself to gain 3. He did not use it off the Cheshire. The Cheshire is at cost 3, so he could suspend it to sing. But he decided to go for the lore instead. So again, I'm going to ready everyone on the field so they are good to go. As I give a big think here. I think I may have overcomplicated my thought process on it all. Here just because of the way everything worked. Truth be told, I could have just quested with almost with everything and outpaced my opponent by quest standards. Because right now I have 2, 4. I have 2, 4, 6 on the board right now at 7. That puts me up to 13 lore. So I'm going to put down a Maleficent. I'm going to draw 1 with it. So yeah, if I had gone this 6 right here, I would have been up to 13 lore because I'm at 7 right now. So there would have been no way for my opponent to even physically catch back up with a Cheshire Cat. So I physically don't have a way. So funny enough, I did draw the Stitch. Yes, at the turn after I discard the Stitch Superstar, the Stitch Rockstar, I draw into the Stitch. So yeah, I do for some reason decide I really want to be getting rid of the Cheshire Cat, even though I should have seen the board presence. That the fact is I had so much lore on the board, I could have easily had probably ignored the Sing altogether. Just played the Maleficent and then just gone up to 13 lore with another 2 lore here from that. And again, my opponent's on a Cheshire Cat, and that's really it. They don't have any other guys on the board, no other real big threats on the board or anything like that. But anyways, here comes the Mad Hatter. Again, that is now a problem because that is 3 lore, and also if I ever challenge him, every challenge I do for him also just mainly means I get I have to let him just draw a card. So anyways, here he's going to sing with the Cheshire to spin back the Mickey. So now I have, of course, the Sorcerer Mickey back in my hand. Again, I don't have any brooms to really utilize it. So I'm going to sing with the Maleficent here to draw another 2. Again, that's for free. Because I don't physically have, because I don't have to pay the ink to sing. I just have to exert a character with a cost similar to the song's cost or greater. So Friends is a cost of 3, so I need a 3 or higher guide character to sing it. Now there are characters like princesses that have singer and other characters that have singer that allow them to sing songs that are higher than their cost. For instance, Ariel can actually sing cost 5 songs. So anyways, I'm going to, of course, run into the Cheshire Cat here. Again, I'm trying to get rid of it. In essence, I run in with a Simba, and this Simba has to be banished because of the Cheshire Cat's ability. So again, I'm just now leaving him on a Mad Hatter. Even though, truth be told, I could have easily done 2, 3, 4, 5 there to go on all the way to 16. Basically, in essence, there'd be no way for him to even physically catch back up. I am going to ink, of course, the Stitch Surfer here because it's just too high of a cost right now, and I'd rather have the ink be visible for me. I'm going to then pay 1. I'm going to bring out the 1 cost Maleficent. I'm going to pay 1 here. I'm going to bring out the Pascal. I mean, at this point right here, this is well enough. But again, if I had just simply quested with the Mickey, I would have been at a slightly higher here and would have been threatening it 100% next turn. I mean, I threaten it right now just because of the Mad Hatter, but I did go a little hard on board control, and I don't think this deck really is about board control. It's about ramping a bunch of dudes on the field and then utilizing those dudes to then gain lots of lore every turn and forcing your opponent to either have a way to clear them or find a way to clear them. And it's not easy against a lot of little dudes, especially because this Mad Hatter has to target the Simba before it can even target like the 1 cost Maleficent. And my opponent's just going to scoop it up, and that is how I claimed victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more videos of my deck profiles once they are created, of gameplay of them in action so you get an idea of what they do, I will be doing best 2 out of 3s because I think that gives you the best action because it allows you to see also the game 1 without the mulligan and then games 2 and 3 with the mulligan. So if you want any of those to happen, you need to give 10 likes to any deck profile video and I will do a video like this. Now, if I happen to get on Mario's stream with a deck profile that I'm playing, then I will more than happy do a reaction video to it. Again, find the link down in the description below for the link to the deck profile that goes over this deck, as well as the better version of Amethyst, Amber, Stitch Snowball, as well as a link to Mario's Twitch channel so you can watch the video in full with the sound. I'm not going to put his video up on my channel. I am simply just going to do this reaction. So, comment. What are your thoughts about the gameplay altogether? Your thoughts on how Lorcana is played altogether? Any of your thoughts on Lorcana? What do you think I could have done better in this deck strategy? Did I play too much into a pseudo board control standard instead of the spam dudes standard? Did I play something wrong? Did I make a misplay? What things did I miss when I did this reaction video? Let me know down in the comments, and also make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and make sure to ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mama Dragon's TCG.